Not every item at Costco is a true bargain, and if you think bigger is cheaper always means savings, you might want to hear this before you keep pushing your cart. The people who know best, Costco employees themselves, have revealed that there are quite a few products they'd rather you didn't buy. Some items that seem like a steal could end up costing you double in the long run. In this video, you'll discover 12 items that Costco employees quietly advise you to avoid, along with the real reasons behind each one. So the next time you shop, you're truly in control. Like this to help more people see this information. Wow. 12 large bottles of vitamins. If you've ever thought buying a large bottle of vitamins at Costco is a smart way to save, the truth might surprise you. Those giant Kirkland vitamin bottles with 400 to 500 tablets look like a great deal, but many Costco employees say most buyers never finish them. The reason is simple. Vitamins have an expiration date, and the active ingredients start losing potency a few months after opening. If you don't take them consistently, the leftovers are just expensive. Tablets you'll throw away. Plus, not everyone needs such a large quantity of vitamins. Taking them long-term without monitoring can lead to excess minerals, especially with types containing iron, zinc, or vitamin A. Some people take them incorrectly or combine multiple types, which can reduce absorption or even affect the liver and kidneys if used for too long. So, buying big to save sometimes turns into buying big to waste. A smarter approach is to choose smaller or medium-sized bottles, use them up, and buy again. This ensures the vitamins stay effective and let you switch to a different type if your body needs it. For beginners, try a few weeks to see how your body reacts instead of buying a huge bottle. 11. Prime Wagyu beef. There's no denying that Costco's premium beef section always makes people linger a bit longer. Those bright red prime or Wagyu cuts with their even white marbling look incredibly tempting. And the per-pound price seems reasonable compared to a restaurant, but unless you're a professional chef, this might not be the deal you think it is. First, Costco often sells these meats in large multi-piece packs, meaning you need to cook or freeze them right away. And with expensive meats like Wagyu, storage isn't simple. Just a slight mistake in freezing or thawing temperature can make the meat lose its natural sweetness. The fat melt away, and the texture turn dry and crumbly, turning your premium steak into an ordinary grilled piece. The price is also worth reconsidering. Many think buying at Costco is cheap, but in reality, when you calculate per piece, the cost isn't much different from high-quality butcher shops, where you can choose the exact cut and size and get advice on preparation. At Costco, you're forced to buy the whole pack, even if you only need a few pieces. 10. Pre-packaged salads. Costco's pre-packaged salads are always displayed attractively. Large containers, vibrant colors, and ready to eat as soon as you open the lid for a healthy meal. Sounds convenient, but if you ask the folks working in the cold storage, they'll tell you the truth. This is one of the items that can cost customers the most. First, most Costco salad containers are huge, enough for 4 to 6 meals. But greens aren't like cereal or instant noodles. They spoil quickly after opening. Just 2 days in the fridge and the leaves start wilting. Water pools at the bottom and the flavor changes. Some salad batches even arrive at the warehouse with just a few days of shelf life left, meaning you'd need to eat the whole thing in one go to avoid wasting money. The second issue is the price isn't as cheap as you think. When broken down by weight, pre-packaged salads are often more expensive than buying fresh greens separately. You're also paying extra for the packaging, dressing, and toppings, which can lead to eating more fat than you realize. And when half the container gets thrown out because it's wilted, your savings go out the window too. If you love salads, a simpler and cheaper way is to buy fresh greens, nuts, cheese, and dressing separately. Then mix just enough for the day. It's tastier, stays crisp, and keeps the natural flavor. You can also use glass containers for storage, which is cleaner and avoids excess plastic. 9. Kirkland AA batteries. Kirkland AA batteries at Costco are always on the buy just in case list as they're nearly half the price of Duracell or Energizer. A pack of dozens of batteries usable for everything from TV remotes to computer mice to kids' toys like a steal, right? But according to many Costco employees, this is an item they quietly urge customers to think twice about before buying. The issue isn't the power, but the safety and durability. Kirkland batteries have a higher leak rate than other brands, especially when left in devices for a long time. Many customers report that batteries forgotten in a remote for a few months leak acid, damaging the circuit board. A flashlight or toy worth a few $dozen ruined. No fixing it. So the cheap item ends up being costly. In reality, Kirkland batteries are fine if you replace them often or use them in devices that run continuously, like wall clocks or computer mice. But for items used infrequently, like backup remotes, flashlights, digital scales, or cameras, choose a higher quality battery. Brands like Energizer Max or Duracell Copper Top cost a few dollars more, but hold power better and are much less likely to leak. If you just learned something new, comment the number 3. 8. Kirkland dish soap. The Kirkland dish soap at Costco seems like an obvious bargain. Large bottle, low price, and a label that says eco-friendly, which sounds reassuring. But if you ask employees who've worked in the household goods section, they'll tell you right away this is the product customers most often regret buying after trying it at home. In theory, this dish soap is marketed as environmentally friendly with fewer chemicals, but in reality, it's not so friendly to greasy dishes. Many customers report needing double the usual amount to clean pots and pans, especially in cold water. Otherwise, plates stay slippery or retain a faint oily smell. So even though the bottle is cheaper, you use it up 2 to 3 times faster than more effective brands. Another disappointment for many is the scent and how it lingers on dishes. Some say their plates and bowls retain a slight smell after washing, especially when stored in a closed cabinet. For families with young children or sensitive skin, this can also cause itching or dry hands with regular use. Costco employees often suggest that if you need a stronger yet safe dish soap, go for Finish Dawn or Palmolive. Slightly pricier but saves effort, water, and time. If you still want to use Kirkland, dilute it with warm water or soap dishes beforehand to boost its effectiveness. 7. Kirkland toilet paper. Kirkland toilet paper is always a top seller at Costco. Large packs, lots of rolls, and much cheaper than Charmin or Cottonelle. At first glance, there's no reason not to buy it. But if you ask the employees who regularly stock shelves or clean the store, they'll be honest. This isn't the cheap but great deal you think it is. The first issue is the quality of the paper. Many customers report that Kirkland toilet paper is thin, tears easily, and isn't as soft as premium brands. This means you end up using more per trip. So even with a big pack, it runs out faster than expected. In the end, the money you saved at purchase almost disappears. A bigger concern is how well the paper dissolves in water. Kirkland toilet paper doesn't break down as quickly as Charmin or Scott, making it more likely to clog toilets, especially in homes with older plumbing or septic systems. A single minor clog can force you to call a plumber, and the repair bill could be 10 times the cost of the paper you meant to save. In fact, some plumbers in the US say outright, most of the toilet clogs we see are related to Kirkland paper. For large families, especially with young kids, this risk is even higher due to the amount of paper used daily. A smarter choice is to pick fast-dissolving paper, even if it costs a few dollars more to keep your plumbing safe. Costco employees know their products well. They don't say Kirkland paper is bad, but they'll advise you to buy it only if your plumbing is reliable and you don't use too much at once. If you're unsure, don't trade a few bucks in savings for a day spent calling a plumber. Sometimes buying cheap isn't worth it compared to buying peace of mind. 6. Kirkland Ultra Clean Pods. If you've seen the Kirkland Ultra Clean laundry pods at Costco, priced at about half the cost of Tighter Gain, you might have thought this cheap. Why not buy it? But if you ask those who've tried it or the employees in the laundry section, they'll tell you straight. This is one of the items customers return most often. The first issue is that the pods don't fully dissolve in modern washing machines, especially high-efficiency H models that use less water. When the machine uses minimal water, the pod's outer layer often doesn't break down completely, leaving slimy streaks or detergent residue on clothes. If this happens, you have to rewash the load, wasting time, electricity, and water. So much for savings. Some users also report skin irritation or mild itching, especially in kids. The cause? Undissolved detergent lingers on fabric fibers and comes into contact with skin when worn. You might not notice it right away, but over time it can make skin dry and itchy. Kirkland Ultra Clean Pods have the advantage of a pleasant scent and low price. But if you have to wash a load twice, that cheap deal becomes costly. Many Costco employees recommend sticking with Kirkland's liquid detergent instead. It dissolves better, cleans well, and causes far less irritation. 5. A whole Parmesan Reggiano cheese wheel. Walking into Costco's cold section, it's hard not to stop at the Parmesan Rio cheese wheel, a massive fragrant round that looks straight out of an Italian restaurant kitchen. For food lovers, it's practically a temptation. But if you ask Costco employees who've lugged those 10-kilo cheese wheels, they'll say outright, buying a whole wheel isn't a good idea, unless you're a regular user. First, the size is the problem. Each wheel weighs 5 to 10 kilos, equivalent to a large pot. You need a huge fridge to store it, and once you cut it open, preservation gets tricky. Hard cheese seems easy to keep, but with prolonged air exposure, it dries out, cracks, and molds quickly. Plus, over time, the natural aroma fades, leaving just a salty, rock-hard texture. For restaurants, hotels, or large parties, this makes sense. But for a family of 2 to 4, you'll find you can't eat it fast enough. Every time you open the fridge, that giant cheese wheel sits there, taking up space and slowly turning into a display piece. Many even throw out half the wheel because it's expired or gone moldy. 4 Coca-Cola mini cans. The neatly stacked packs of Coca-Cola mini cans at Costco with a lower listed price than supermarkets and a whopping 30 cans per pack make it easy to think this is a great value item. But if you ask Costco employees, they'll tell you it's one of the products customers buy a lot of but don't actually save much. And first, let's talk about the real price. When you break it down per can, the cost of Coke mini cans at Costco isn't much cheaper than at local supermarkets, especially during holidays or weekends when smaller stores often have big promotions on 12-can packs. So, you're spending more up front for a big pack when in reality you could buy fewer cans for a similar or even lower price elsewhere. Second, the issue lies in consumption habits. When your fridge is always stocked with many Cokes, grabbing just one more becomes too easy. Many people end up drinking 2 or 3 cans a day without thinking, taking in a ton of sugar and calories without realizing it. A single small can seems harmless, but 3 cans a day for a few months can lead to noticeable weight gain, not to mention long-term effects on blood sugar and dental health. 3. Plastic-wrapped organic cucumbers. The plastic-wrapped organic cucumbers at Costco look clean and tidy, making anyone think, buy these for peace of mind. 3 shiny cucumbers neatly lined up in clear plastic. It seems like it's for freshness, but that wrapping actually makes them spoil faster. Employees in the fresh produce section say it outright. This is one of the items customers return most often, because after a few days, the cucumbers go soft, get watery, and mold, ruining the whole pack. The plastic wrap protects the cucumbers from external moisture, but it also traps their natural moisture inside. When there's a temperature change, like from the warehouse cooler to your home fridge, condensation forms, creating a perfect damp environment for bacteria to grow. Within 2 to 3 days, the cucumbers start softening, their skin wrinkles, and black spots appear, even if they're still in date. Kirkland Rotisserie Chicken Salad. The Kirkland Rotisserie Chicken Salad looks incredibly convenient. Open the lid and you have a complete meal. No cooking or dishwashing required for a busy lifestyle. It's practically a lifesaver for lunch. But if you ask Costco employees, they'll be blunt. This is a convenient item that's not worth the money. The first issue is the quality of the chicken. Although it's made from Costco's famous $4.99 rotisserie chicken, once processed into salad, the meat is often stored for days in cold storage. The result is chicken that loses its firmness, becomes mushy, and carries that distinct preprint fridge water smell. Many customers open the container to find watery liquid, soggy meat, and thick, clumpy mayonnaise. It tastes rich for the first few bites, but quickly becomes overwhelming. Second, the price isn't actually a bargain. A nearly 1 kilo container of chicken salad costs about $6.99 per pound, totaling over $13 per container. Meanwhile, you can buy a whole $4.99 rotisserie chicken, shred the meat yourself, and mix it with greens, onions, celery, and a bit of dressing. Fresher and half the cost. 1. Kirkland Whole Bean Coffee. Many coffee lovers stop at the giant bags of Kirkland Whole Bean Coffee at Costco. 2.5 pounds for about $13, nearly half the price of Starbucks or Lavazza. The roasted coffee aroma and sleek packaging make it seem like a huge steal, but if you ask employees in the dry goods section, they'll tell you the truth. This is a cheap but bland item that many customers buy once and never again. Good coffee depends on freshness and storage. The problem with Kirkland's bags is their size. Once opened, the coffee's aroma starts fading within weeks. If you don't drink it daily or lack a vacuum sealer, the remaining beans quickly turn bitter and astringent and develop a slight burnt smell. The first cup might be fine, but by the second half of the bag, the flavor is completely different, flat, bland, and lacking depth. Plus, many note that Kirkland coffee has an industrial taste, being over-roasted for a longer shelf life, but losing the natural balance between bitterness and aroma. If you just need caffeine to stay alert, it's fine. But if coffee is your morning joy, this will disappoint you. And finally, Kirkland Kitchen Knife Set. The Kirkland Kitchen Knife Set at Costco is displayed prominently. Shiny blades, sturdy handles, and a wooden box that looks like professional-grade gear. Priced at about half the cost of famous brands, it's easy to be swayed. But if you ask Costco employees in the household section, they'll say outright, "This set is nice for display, not for long-term use." The first issue is the durability of the steel and blade sharpness. Initially, the knives are very sharp, but after a few weeks of use, especially when cutting meat, bones, or hard vegetables, the blades dull noticeably. Many have to sharpen them constantly, and the more you sharpen, the more the blade loses its angle, getting chipped or scratched. Some report the handles loosening after a few months, especially when washed in a dishwasher. Water causes the adhesive to expand, making the blade wobble. Second, though marketed as stainless steel if not dried thoroughly after washing, Kirkland knives can still develop light stains or rust on the cutting edge. This doesn't affect safety, but makes the knives look worn and dull. For those who like a tidy kitchen, seeing the set like this can kill the cooking vibe. Not everything at Costco is a true bargain. Many big and cheap products lack quality, break quickly, or cost more in the long run. Costco employees know this better than anyone. They don't bash the brand, they just want customers to buy what they need, use it fully, and not be fooled by low prices. True savings aren't about the discount tag, but about understanding the product, weighing your needs, and shopping smart. Subscribe to NextGen Picks to save more money while shopping.